Hello everyone, this is Taylor Edrington with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado. We are the oldest fly shop and guide service on the Arkansas River and only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the Arkansas. Thanks so much for viewing. We are moving out of January into February already. And conditions are great on the upper Arkansas from Canyon City upstream. Obviously, we're still experiencing winter conditions in much of Bighorn Sheep Canyon and especially upstream of Salida. February is a month to where we start to see some transition into springtime conditions while we could still have some, pretty good winter weather. However, as we look at the long-term forecast for February, it looks extremely dry and warm, which is actually pretty typical. Typically, we have pretty cold, wet Januaries, and then we move into a lot drier, warmer conditions in February. For example, this upcoming 10 days, we don't have a daytime high below 52 degrees in Canyon City. Warm overnight lows, sunny conditions. We've got days in the 60s next week, which is not uncommon in February in Canyon City. Obviously, it's going to be cooler on the upper basin from Salida upstream, so you're not going to have those extreme warm conditions upstream. They'll be in the 40s and perhaps in the low 50s. But we did receive a good amount of snowpack. We're right at about 140% of average today on the Arkansas Basin, which is good because, it looks like February is going to be dry and probably pretty windy up on our upper snowfields. Not windy down on the river, but that will burn a lot of snowpack off in February typically. Expect to have some, winter storms in February. We're not going to go unscathed as far as that's concerned. But expect some really nice fishable and enjoyable days on the Arkansas River. And right now, even with the cold weather we've had the last 10 days of January, we've got wide open river, no ice formation on the shorelines in Canyon City. We've got good sections in Bighorn Sheep Canyon that are wide open with minimal shelf ice. So things are looking really good on the Arkansas from Canyon City upstream. And, basically flows are maintaining in about the 500 CFS window in Canyon City, about 400 in upper Bighorn Sheep Canyon, 250 at Granite. Really, we're not real concerned with what's going on from, BV upstream. It's just going to be too cold for a lot of, at least a good amount of productive fishing in a day. The window is much larger as you go downstream in the winter. Fishing is just pure and simple better in parts of Bighorn Sheep Canyon and especially in Canyon City. So expect that in February, and don't forget that late February can be some of the best nymph fishing of the entire year because we have our stonefly molt, which happens annually, and it starts in late February, 3rd, 4th week of February. Fishing is extremely good in the last 2 weeks of February. Always is. Weather comes and goes, but, stoneflies begin to molt and caddis are active, and you've got BWOs starting to become very active. Things really start to fire up in late February on the Arkansas and many other drainages in the state of Colorado. That doesn't happen. But remember, we're in the banana belt. We stay much warmer and we warm up a lot quicker in that early spring window. So do plan your days in late February, and obviously March is just one of our best months of the year. So you know, that's right around the corner, folks. You know, we're moving into early February, and springtime is just right around the corner. While we're talking about that, do remember we've got our big springtime event, our fly fishing festival, Arkansas Fly Fishing Festival on March 18th. And we will be having streamside clinics and in-house, manufacturer reps in-house. We'll have, you can cast multiple different brands of rods. We'll have seminars. We'll have, like I said, streamside clinics. We'll have, free beer, all of that going on the third weekend of March, March 18th and 19th. So put that on your calendars early. Usually just a huge event. We have 400 or 500 people show up. It's a great time. A little bit about patterns and how to rig in February. Typically things stay pretty level. Things don't change a whole lot in early February. We're still continuing to fish immature stoneflies, cranefly larvae, the life cycle of the midge, your larva, pupa, and adult. And we're fishing some BWOs as well, especially in these warmer conditions we've got coming up, like I said, 50s and 60s over the next 10 days. We will see blue-winged olive activity, especially in the early afternoon, mid-afternoon, when water temperature comes near the 40-degree mark. We will see some blue-winged olive activity subsurface and potentially some adult hatches, but those would be very sporadic. What we typically like to focus on are heavy nymph rigs, really focusing on softer water, tail outs, areas of least resistance is where you're going to find fish right now. They're not going to be in the heavy current, heavy pocket water. Fish are not expending calories right now. So look for them in that softer tail out water, softer pocket water perhaps. But on warm days, when the water temperature comes up a bit, fish can move into riffles in February and start feeding heavily on stonefly nymphs and even cranefly larvae and caddis larvae, so on and so forth. So don't, pigeonhole yourself into that softer water on really warm afternoons. Obviously, Euro nymphing is very effective during this time period because you can get deep fast, and that's fishing a heavy point fly and fishing a tag fly, like I've mentioned, midge, BWO, etc. Looking at a Western nymph rig, we're going to run a cranefly larva or an immature stonefly nymph. Up front is the first fly, and then your point fly will be your smaller fly. It'll be that midge, BWO, so on and so forth. So let's look at some of those bigger lead flies, is kind of lead attractor flies, so to speak. Like I said, cranefly larvae are prevalent in Canyon City and throughout Bighorn Chief Canyon and even upstream. You'll see craneflies hatching in the spring and through the summer. They look like big hummingbirds, giant mosquitoes out on the water. So, but right now we're fishing that cranefly larva, the initial stage. This is John Barr's crane larva in a larger size. That's a size 10. We also fish a little bit smaller representations as well. This is called a CZ larva, and this is a great check nymphing fly. It's got that little trigger band in the thorax, but super heavy, nice wide open hook there, open gap hook rather. Immature stoneflies, like I said, are going to be key, and we're fishing lightly colored, slight profile stoneflies. This is just a yellow copper john. We fish those in size 14, 16. Wired stoneflies, an excellent fly as well. Here in February. And then a little Yellowstone is one of my favorites. We fished this in a size 12 through a 16, tied on a little bit different hook. So real slight profile, lightly colored stonefly. And then obviously when we get into late February and the stoneflies begin to molt, then we see them changing color throughout the day, so you really want to have lighter and darker stoneflies in your boxes for that. Also good trailer flies, if you want to run a 3-fly rig, you could run the stonefly or the cranefly larva, then you can run a caddis larva. Caddis larvae are fishing very well right now. This is a GTI caddis. It's a free swimmer. We are fishing a little bit larger free swimming caddis right now. Not so much your cased caddis larva, not your brockies. This is a Psycho-Ryko bottom roller caddis. Great pattern. Fishes well through the spring as well. Like I said, those point flies, those smaller flies, we really want to focus on the midge life cycle. Your midge larva, you know, I've got several that I love, but the ICU midge is fantastic right now. It's got the flash on the sides of the thorax, red on that one. One of our local patterns, Larry Kingree's Captain Hook, has been excellent as well, both on the upper and the tailwater. Desert Storm, one of our go-to midge larvae, size 20, 22. Then you've got your midge pupa. So this is your emerger. So, you know, as water temperature raises slightly, you definitely want to be looking to that winged version that's popping the wing case. This is your Rojo midge here. Okay. And pretty hard to beat Pat Dorsey's Top Secret as kind of a chocolate emerger imitation. Then, like I said, don't forget your BWO stuff, especially in the nymph category. We're fishing darker, smaller BWO nymphs. Some of our favorites, the Radiation Beta, Shea Gunkel's pattern, and the Anatome. So those are things to really look for as you really kind of focus on the upper Arkansas, you know, the freestone from Canyon City through Bighorn Sheep Canyon. Like I said, things will really progress in February. We fish really hard in February. Fishing's great, like I said, and really, really heats up in late February with the stonefly molt. But take advantage of these great days we have in early February. They're just going to be hard to beat. You know, temps in the 50s and 60s, you can't beat that. But give us a call if you have any questions, toll free, 888-994-6743. As always, enjoy the website, enjoy the reports. Let us know if you have any questions. Shoot us an email at info@royalgorgeanglers.com. Have a great day on the water.